You have reached the voicemail of Goro Akechi. Please state your name and the reason for your call. I shall respond as soon as it is possible for me to do so.
Hey, honey, just checking in. You left the party kinda suddenly, and you mentioned the headache. I hope you're feeling better. Give me a call when you get this, all right? No rush. Anyway, take care. Talk soon.
I officially declare the second meeting of the Chosen Ones open!
What's on the menu this time?
The house special, curry. You tell me how it stacks up.
Wait, you are making curry?
He's been practicing all week.
Barely. Now, hand over your plates. I want to know if it's better than Akira's.
No matter how Akira's been acting, that's setting a pretty high bar. Curry's like one of the few things he's never messed up.
I must admit, it's ambitious, but I'm eager to try it. You seem to have poured your heart into it.
Poor choice of words. Well, how is it?
It's, really good. I love the honey, though maybe there's just a bit too much.
The honey and coriander are a little overpowering, but it's not all bad.
Morgana?
It's, delicious, Goro, really.
Is it better than Akira's or not?
I'm sorry, Goro, but Akira's curry, it's kind of legendary by now. Yours is good, but it's just not the same.
What's missing? What did I do wrong?
I think it's the balance of spices. It's a bit chaotic. Akira's has more harmony.
Fine. Hand me your plates. I'll start from scratch.
What? No, I'm hungry. Back off!
Why not perfect your own recipe instead of trying to outdo Akira's?
Because I can do everything Akira masters, and do it better. I want to prove it.
Step aside, folks. Neo's entered his pissed-off rival form. So, are you finally going to tell us what really happened with Maruki?
After our debate, I felt this unsettling urge to understand where I truly belong, what I actually want. It was tied to this bizarre theory I have, that I'm fictional. The debate triggered the worst existential crisis I've ever had, but things are clearer now.
So, he never actually used his powers on you? You were acting super weird.
If he did, he must have erased those memories because I can't recall anything like that. Or maybe it was seamless, which is even more terrifying. My erratic behavior came from doubting everything. For a moment, I actually thought, if nothing matters, why not just enjoy the life Akira crafted for me? Maybe my purpose was just to be the best version of myself, whatever that means. Trying to care about my own feelings, maybe make some real friends. Anyway, talking with you, Ryuji, Morgana, it helped me get my resolve back. It was a moment of weakness, that's all.
Doubt is natural. It's part of being human. But you should have told us what was going on in your head. We were really worried Maruki got to you.
Yeah, it wasn't even like you were wearing a mask. It was just weird.
Aren't you trying to make some real friends?
I do. But I mean, normal friends. Like, just friends. Friends, and not teammates with whom I secretly save the world every night. Friends.
Ah, I'm sure we can do both. Don't worry, you're not as hopeless as you think.
If Maruki did alter your memories, we could recover them in those memory rooms, right?
I don't think I even need that. Hereward suggested I use Call of Truth on myself. It should clear up any doubts.
Really? Then why didn't we do that before you went to see Maruki?
Because I wasn't supposed to be affected by Maruki's powers. I've been aware of the truth from the beginning, just like Akira. I thought being a wild card meant I was immune.
So arrogant. Your ego shall be your downfall, Neo.
Yeah, well, it already has been my downfall. Or maybe it's just bad writing. Who knows? Anyway, let's focus on what matters next.
Wait, You've got that look again. Bad writing. Huh. So that's what your outburst in the safe room was about? You were talking to yourself, right? Was that another one of those meta hallucinations?
Yeah, Maruki's influence or not, I've had this gnawing feeling like I'm constantly being watched. It's unnerving. You can say it. I've lost my mind.
Nothing new here.
Futaba, I think he's telling the truth.
The sanity part doesn't change.
Genius is often associated with insanity, but I don't think Goro has lost his mind.
If he's a genius, what am I then? A god?
Are you all done?
I checked out that place in the real world, you know. Since the cognitive world is swallowing all of Tokyo, that blue safe room we were in reality, it's just a library on the ground floor. The rest of the building is filled with office spaces and insurance agencies. Pretty dull stuff.
A library as a safe room? Interesting. What could it signify?
A library's a place where people escape into books, lose themselves in stories. When they're absorbed in a book, they ignore the world around them. Maybe Maruki's reality can't take hold in a space like that, where people mentally disconnect from the present.
That makes sense. Does that mean all libraries in the real world could be safe rooms in the cognitive world? We should map them out.
What about cinemas, then? Or any place where people retreat from reality?
The arcade, definitely.
It's likely. What about the other safe room we found? The one that looked like a picnic area?
Oh yeah, I checked that out too. It's a children's playground in reality. Kind of fits the pattern, right?
Agreed. We should figure out all the potential places where Maruki's grip weakens. It could give us an edge in our mission.
Hold on. Didn't you say Morgana disappeared in that safe room? If it's a library in the real world, then Akira being in your apartment doesn't necessarily explain his disappearance.
I wish that were the case. But entering the cognitive world here isn't like using the metaverse navigator. Our bodies never physically leave our beds. No matter where we go in the cognitive realm, or which exit we take, we always wake up back where we fell asleep.
Still, it's worth checking out that library in the real world just in case. And eventually, we should confront Akira about it.
Leave that to me.
Have a feeling he's just going to lie again.
It doesn't matter. If he refuses to choose what he wants, I'll make the decision for him. Rival or lover, he can't have both. I've made up my mind.
Hey, it's me again. You, still alive? I wanted to see if you were up for that planetarium date we talked about. Thought it might be nice to unwind a bit after everything. Give me a call when you're feeling up for it, okay? It'll be fun.
Well, if it isn't the Detective Prince, business or pleasure?
Business? Even though I wouldn't mind a refreshment? I need something for a colleague. A katana replica, along with a firearm model, preferably an assault rifle.
A katana, huh? You don't ask for that kind of thing often, but I'll be honest with you, finding a good model these days is a joke. Most of them are plain garbage. If you're serious, I can get you a real one, but it'll cost you. And it'll be, well, real.
A real katana? I don't see why that should be a problem at all.
Goro, I don't know about this. A real blade? You don't need anything like that. This is just for the cognitive world, remember?
Real or not, Yusuke deserves better than some flimsy toy. He wouldn't settle for mediocrity, and neither will I.
Are you talking to your cat?
Yes, don't ask. How soon can you get it?
Just a phone call away. I'll have it for you before the weekend. And don't worry about the gun, I'll get you something.
Perfect. I'll wait then. Now, what's the mocktail today?
Haven't chosen yet. Do you have any preference?
Mona, any preference?
Me? A magic fizz sounds nice right now.
A magic fizz, please.
I won't ask. Coming right up.
Yusuke, if I didn't know better, I'd say you're more invested in that notebook than this meeting. What's so important it can't wait?
Important? Quite. I'm working on my next masterpiece, a billboard at Skytree.
Wait, Skytree? You're talking about the Skytree, right? The one that everyone and their grandma looks up at every day?
Precisely. A canvas deserving of the message I intend to convey. My professors at Kosei fail to appreciate the gravity of my work. They've taken it upon themselves to censor my expression, stripping my pieces of their soul.
Censoring? Like they didn't like the colors or something?
No, they find my subjects too bleak. Pain, sorrow, the rawness of human emotion. It seems Kosei would rather I paint smiling faces and placid fields. Beauty devoid of depth.
So, they want you to keep things pleasant. Paint within their neat little lines. How quaint. And you, of course, are more inclined to stir the pot.
Art cannot thrive within confines, Goro. It must evoke. It must challenge. But Kosei has made it clear that my work will not be accepted unless I conform.
So, you're taking the fight to the streets? Hell yeah, stick it to 'em, Yusuke.
Precisely. If they will not allow me to display my work in their galleries, then I shall take it where it cannot be ignored. And what better place than the towering edifice of Skytree?
Going straight for the jugular, then. Bold. But as a police officer, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out how illegal this all sounds.
True artistry requires sacrifice. Let them call it illegal. My art will speak the truth that they wish to silence.
Well, just don't get caught, Yusuke. What happens if they actually pull your scholarship? Street art won't exactly pay the rent.
Yeah, you gonna sell your art on the sidewalk? Online? Last time I checked, it's not really a flourishing market since Maruki took over.
If it comes to that, I suppose I'll simply have to crash at Goro's apartment.
I'm sorry, you'll what?
Your apartment has a serene, minimalist atmosphere. It would be perfect for my creative process, and there's plenty of space. I could paint in the living room.
Oh man, I have to see that. You two as roommates? Priceless.
And a change of environment could elevate my work to new heights.
Or it could result in a homicide, namely yours.
Beware, Akechi. I've heard Inari chuckling psychotically more than once at 2 in the morning, struck by inspiration.
At least it would make our meetings easier to plan, so it might not be a bad idea at all. I mean, I'm already here, right?
This is a terrible idea. I am not running a hostel for wayward vigilantes. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, Akira's reaction to this arrangement.
Akira would have some nerve to object, given that the censorship I'm facing is a direct consequence of his own decision. Besides, my presence would be minimal. I'd only need a small corner for my work, and perhaps the occasional use of your fine tea collection.
Oh, naturally. And I assume you'll want free access to my expensive skincare products too.
That's a very generous offer, although I admit I wouldn't know which to use for what.
It was a joke, Yusuke. And for the record, it's out of the question.
Speaking of collections, you still owe me a tour of your Featherman goodies, Akechi?
Ah, yes. How could I forget? Our next vital step in dismantling Maruki's reality. A thorough showcase of my Featherman mugs. I'm starting to think we need a proper hideout for these meetings. My apartment seems to spark a bit too much inspiration and distraction in all of you. Can any of you focus for 10 consecutive seconds?
Oh, come on, Goro. You should be flattered. Your place is very inspiring.
Precisely. But Goro's right. We should proceed with the next step.
Goro, seriously, what's going on? You're ghosting me. Did I do something? If you're upset about something, just tell me, all right? I'm trying to understand here. I get it if you need space, but at least let me know you're okay. Just call me back.
Thank you for coming. Judging by your outfit, you came straight from work?
Perceptive as always. I had a meeting with a newly founded rehabilitation center and was almost late, although I probably should have taken the time to get some more fitting clothes. It doesn't go well with the decor, does it?
I thought we could both use a change of scenery. Your office feels a bit too clinical for this kind of conversation.
I suppose I should be honored. Jazz Gin of all places. It's not where I expected our next discussion to take place. I didn't think you'd ever suggest a casual outing.
Well, I'm full of surprises. Besides, there aren't that many people who know what's really happening, right? Seems only fair we exchange ideas, maybe even learn from each other, like regular human beings.
True. Though I didn't peg you as someone who'd seek out friendship with me, even in the name of learning.
Friendship? Ha! Let's not get carried away. I'm just curious. You've built yourself quite the ivory tower, with all your talk of utopia and happiness. But at the end of the day, you're still human, and humans, they get lonely.
Loneliness, huh? Maybe so. But it's the cost of understanding the bigger picture. I can live with it if it means I can make things right for others.
You know, it's funny. You talk about happiness, about giving people what they truly want. A few months ago, I found myself at one of those, what do you call them? Speed dating events. I went to give Ryuji moral support. You can imagine how that went. But here's the kicker. I ran into someone rather unexpected. Rumi-san.
Rumi? I see. I didn't expect you to bring her up.
Of course, she only saw me as the detective prince. Tried to flirt with him a little, completely unaware of your past relationship. Seemed perfectly happy, though. She's back in Tokyo, looking to start fresh, expand her horizons. It was interesting.
That's good. She deserves that. A life free of the pain she went through.
Is that what you tell yourself? That it's better to forget? I wonder if Rumi-san would agree with you, if she still remembered.
She probably wouldn't, but I made my peace with the fact that I can't control everything. What matters is that the outcome aligns with the greater good.
You seem to talk a lot about what you can't control for someone who's supposed to be rewriting reality.
Even gods have their limits.
Gods? Or men who play at being gods?
We've talked about this before, haven't we? How even I'm subject to forces beyond my reach. But you felt it, haven't you? The sensation that something else is at play, something beyond you, or even me, you said.
I don't ignore the absurdity of it all, but I don't blindly accept it either. Unlike Akira, I'm not exactly the kind to surrender to fate.
And that's why you resist me. You don't want to be controlled by anyone, not even me. But the truth is, Akechi, none of us have as much control as we think. That's what makes your experience with these alterations so interesting. You're aware of something most people wouldn't even notice, yet you still can't explain it, can you?
You already told me it wasn't your doing, but that doesn't mean I'm done searching for the truth.
Even if it confirms what you fear, that you're not in control?
I think you've misunderstood me. I'm not afraid of being out of control. I'm just not willing to let someone else pull the strings without my knowing. Which is why I have to ask, if you had no part in these alterations, what do you think is happening? Who's pulling the strings in this little show?
Honestly, I have no idea. Have you encountered other discrepancies since our last meeting?
I wouldn't say discrepancies, but there's been an update, yes.
An update?
Yeah. Look. Entity, if you're there, change the colors of our drinks.
What the?
Oh, a Soltini. Interesting. A favorite of yours, perhaps?
Well, that definitely explains some things, but I assure you it's certainly not my doing.
I believe you. But it's fascinating, isn't it? For someone shaping reality, you're powerless against an invisible hand.
Well, we've discussed this. If we're part of a narrative, what matters is how we respond to it. If it's a story, then the real question is, who's the villain And who's the hero? What's your take on that?
Villain or hero? Ha! You're taking this remarkably lightly. Doesn't it undermine your whole purpose? If this worldwide happiness isn't even yours, what does that make you? Just another pawn?
No, it doesn't. You should know better than anyone. There are always forces beyond your control. But I'd like to believe that the universe balances itself, Akechi. Perhaps the role I have been given is to ensure that balance brings happiness. That includes you too, whether you want to admit it or not.
You really think I'm just some misguided soul, don't you? Let's be honest, Maruki. If you really had all the power you claim, you wouldn't be offering me choices. You wouldn't need me. Or Akira. Isn't that the telltale sign of weakness?
I give you both a choice because I believe in your potential, in your capacity to change. If I were the villain, I would have stripped away your freedom the moment I could. But I didn't, because I want you to find your peace, Akechi. You deserve that.
That's where you're wrong. You said it yourself. I resist you. Maybe that's not because I'm misguided. Maybe it's because you don't have a choice in the matter. Maybe you're destined to lose. And if that's the case, wouldn't that make you the villain after all?
Or maybe the end game isn't about who wins or loses. Maybe it's about making you realize that I never did anything wrong. I'm not your enemy, Akechi, and I think deep down you know that.
If that's true, then the one pulling the strings of this show is just as deluded as you.
Maybe, but wouldn't that mean they're most likely human, just like us?
They've certainly shown a sense of humor. Not much else, though. Elusive, to say the least.
What if you never discover the truth behind it all? Could you live with that uncertainty?
I don't waste time on what-ifs. As long as I'm standing, there's only one thing I can do. Keep trying. I may fail again and again, but the pursuit is all that matters.
At the risk of sounding redundant, you truly are fascinating, Akechi-kun.
No offense, but it sounds like the same kind of bullshit I used to tell Akira when I was trying to get him to trust me.
Did you, choose this place just to annoy Akira by any chance?
I can't hide anything from you, can I? But not only that, I really like the setting of this place, notwithstanding Akira. I like the performers. And while we're on the subject, do you have a particular taste in music?
I'm pretty eclectic, but I'm partial to classical music. That jazzy bossa nova is pretty nice, though.
Classical? Any favorite composers?
Bach, maybe? Why do you ask?
Well, nothing. It's not like this performer will suddenly start playing something else just because we wish it.
Oh, I could make it, but I'd rather keep it intact. You seem to enjoy it very much.
That's thoughtful of you. What are the rules of this game? Should I? Maruki-san?
Yes, Akechi-kun?
Don't misunderstand me. I haven't changed my mind, and I doubt I ever will. But I can't deny that a very selfish part of me, however small and conflicting, feels grateful. Grateful for the chance to experience something different, even if it's all just an illusion.
Hearing that from you, of all people, that means more than you can imagine.